Now, if you scroll through LinkedIn long enough, you will come across content from every AI content creator around data and AI governance that data is the foundation of AI governance. Everyone basically tells you the same platitudes. Things like fix your data pipelines, clean your data, tag your metadata, secure your data lakes. I get it. Data is extremely critical. But if you're building an enterprise AI strategy and you start with data, you're approaching things from the wrong side. In fact, data is not step one. It is not even step two. It's actually step three. If you want your AI initiatives to actually survive deployment, scale across the enterprise, and deliver real ROI, you have to invert the pyramid. You don't start with data. You start with trust. In the next few minutes, I'm going to tear down the standard AI governance blueprint and build one that actually works at executive level. First, let's break down why the traditional data-first approach fails. When organizations focus entirely on data governance first, they build pristine, perfectly curated data environments for products that nobody ends up using, or models that get killed by legal 2 weeks before launch. That is because they built the engine before deciding who owns the car or whether anyone trusts the driver. Now, here's my hierarchy of modern enterprise AI governance. The top priority is trust. The second priority is accountability. And the third priority is data. Before you throw your data engineering book at me, hear me out. No doubt, data is a technical foundation, but trust and accountability are the operational permissions that allow the foundation to exist in the real world. Without trust, your customers wouldn't even touch your product. Without accountability, your executive team will freeze the moment a risk manifests. So let's start with the first priority, trust. If your end users, enterprise clients, or internal teams don't trust the privacy, security, and integrity of the AI tool you're launching, that technical quality of your data model is completely irrelevant. Zero usage equals zero value. Think about what happened in the early days of corporate Gen AI rollouts. Companies rushed out customer service bots or internal knowledge assistants. The data underpinning them was technically fine, but the trust layer wasn't there. Remember the high-profile airfare chatbot blunder where bots made refund policies on the fly? Or the legal liability created when enterprise data leaked into public LLMs? Those weren't data failures. Those were trust failures. When an enterprise customer evaluates your AI-powered product today, they don't care about how clean your training data set was. All they care about is, where does my context go? Are you training on my IP? Is this output secure, predictable, and compliant with SOC 2 or ISO frameworks? If you haven't established clear privacy boundaries, security controls, and transparent user guardrails upfront, you don't have a product. You have a PR liability waiting to happen. You have to design for trust before you train on data. That brings us to the second priority, accountability. Once you define what trust looks like, you need to answer the single most uncomfortable question in enterprise AI. When this model misbehaves unpredictably, which it will, who owns the business impact? Is it the ML engineer who tweaked the hyperparameters? Is it the product manager who pushed the release? Is it the CISO whose teams approved the API connection? Or is it the CIO? In most organizations today, the answer is just a shrug, because nobody owns it. Everyone owns a piece of the pipeline, which means nobody owns the outcome. And when nobody owns the outcome, two things happen. Number one, organizational paralysis. Risk and legal team block every deployment because they don't know who's on the hook. Then there is catastrophic failure. A rogue agentic workflows executes an unauthorized financial transaction or leaks sensitive data, and executives scramble to assign blame in the aftermath. Before you ingest a single terabyte of data into an enterprise pipeline, you need an accountability map. You need clear human-in-the-loop governance. Someone must hold explicit operational ownership over the AI's behavior, guardrails, and failure recovery. You can't rely on data to take accountability. That is the responsibility of humans. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, which is the data. Once you've established trust, which is a value proposition and privacy boundaries, and you've also established accountability, which is the organizational ownership and risk tolerance, then data takes center stage. Data is the tactical engine. This is where your data lineage, synthetic data strategy, vector databases, and quality pipelines kick in. Because now your data engineers are not just cleaning data in a vacuum. They are structuring data specifically to hold the trust boundaries you set in step one and to meet the operational standards set by the accountable owner in step two. Trust defines the boundaries. Accountability defines the ownership. and data delivers the execution. When you order it this way, AI governance stops being a defensive, slow-moving bureaucratic tax. It becomes a strategic advantage that allows you to deploy faster and safer than your competitors. So if you're a CIO, CTO, CDO, or some AI strategy leader sitting in your next executive committee meeting, push back on the standard narrative. Don't let the conversation start and end with data pipelines. Instead, you need to start with the hard questions. How are we guaranteeing trust to our end users? And who takes the hit when the system misbehaves? You get these two right, and the data strategy practically writes itself. Now, if you found this perspective valuable or you think it's out of sorts, drop your thoughts in the comments on how your organization handles AI accountability, and make sure to subscribe to the newsletter for deep dive frameworks on these same exact playbooks. Until next time, stay sharp, build responsibly, and keep operating intelligently. I'll see you in the next one.